Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
Now in public session.
Mr. Mover, proceed, please.
So, Mr. Witness, I would like to ask you some general questions about Huruma. Do you know what part of Kenya Huruma is located at?
Answer. Could you repeat the question, please?
Counsel, is it not something that could be led? I see Mr. Ken nodding. Mr. Keegan Katwa?
I have no objection.
Yes. I'm grateful for that indication. In that case, is Huruma in the Rift Valley?
Answer. Yes.
And is it part of the Eldoret North constituency?
Sir. Yes, that is true.
Do you know how far it is from Eldoret town? This is Huruma.
Answer. I would say that the distance is 6 kilometers from Eldoret.
And do you know if Huruma is divided into different locations, or is it just one town?
Answer. I would like you to repeat your question, please.
Your Honour, this is an important issue. I've objected once, and my learned friend carried on. Perhaps the witness can just be asked to describe the geographical ambit of Huruma, rather than the question put in a leading manner, and take it from there.
Is there any, do you contest the
Yes.
fact of it?
Yes, the composition of Huruma is in dispute. The geographical scope. So what my learned friend should do is get the witness to describe the geographical ambit of the place that he says is Huruma, and questions will feed off that, rather than to put options to the witness that don't emanate from the witness's own testimony.
Well,
Response?
well, the response is a basic one. The witness has testified about Huruma already, and we have heard testimony about localities. And what I put to the witness was, in the alternative, is it one location, or are there different locations? The answer is inherent in the witness's previous answer anyway.
Your Honour, we've seen already from a previous witness that the defence has already made inroads regarding the geographical scope of the charges. So it's for obvious reasons I'm asking my learned friend to exercise care regarding these questions. It's for obvious reasons, and it can be done in a very non-controversial manner, simply by asking the witness, can he describe Huruma? He can mark it on a map, he can delineate it, he can say what are the boundaries of that town. But, Your Honour, options should not be put to a witness. The fact of an option being put does not actually cure the defect that I was that I stood to caution against. Your Honour, that's my respectful submission.
Your preference is for the question to be put from the perspective of describing the geography of Huruma. That would be a very long and involved process. There are too many things involved in that kind of exercise to be put in that manner. This is a matter on which we will exercise the discretion to allow leading questions in a limited way. The witness had already indicated by a previous answer, or previous answers, that there are at least 2 places inside Huruma. Counsel is now pursuing that. He can proceed.
I'm grateful, Your Honour, just for
Before we proceed, I want to note that counsel's question, prosecution counsel's question at the moment is about the divisions, if so, in Huruma.
I'm grateful, Mr. President. Mr. Witness, you wanted me to repeat the question, and my question was, is Huruma one town or city, or is it divided into different locations or localities?
Answer. Huruma is a locality. Have I answered your question there?
You've answered it to some extent, but are there any other locations within Huruma? Can you help us there?
Witness, before you help him there, you've already given us 2 localities within Huruma. If there are any other localities within Huruma, can you mention now? Apart from those 2 you've already mentioned.
Answer. I would like to ask you, do you want me to describe the locality or location, or the different localities or sub-locations which go to make up Huruma?
Okay, let's start with the sub-locations that make up Huruma. Do you know what they are?
La.
Answer, no.
Do you know the different localities that make up Huruma?
Ndio.
Answer, yes.
Could you tell us what the different localities are?
Ya kwanza ni namba moja.
Answer. The first one is in number 1, and the others are number 2 and number 5. These are the localities which I know of.
Your Honors, I think we should go into private session for just a minute, please.
All right, we will do that, but a minute. Witness, you've mentioned that locations numbers 1, 2, and 5 are the locations in Huruma that you know of. Are there any other locations in Huruma that you do not know of?
Ndio, kwa sifahamu.
The witness, yes, there are some that I do not know.
We will now go into private session. Did you say for a minute or two, Ms. Omofade?
It may well be longer. I intend, yeah.
For a short while.
For a short while.
All right. Can you give a general idea so that people can know?
Probably 5 minutes.
All right.
Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
Court officer, we are in public session, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Mr. Witness, in 2007, were you still residing at location 1?
Ndio.
The witness, yes.
And do you recall the major event that happened in Kenya in 2007?
Ndio, nakumbuka.
Answer, yes, I do remember.
What was that?
Kulitokea vita vya kikabila.
Answer, there was an ethnic war.
Now, it's accepted that the elections in Kenya took place in December 2007. But I'd like to ask you about the beginning of 2007. What was the atmosphere like in location 1 earlier on in 2007?
Mwanzo wa mwaka huo.
Answer. At the beginning of 2007, the situation was not good because we were in the run-up to the elections.
And what do you mean when you say the situation was not good?
Kulikuwa na wasiwasi mwingi dhidi ya uchaguzi.
Answer. People were very concerned due to the preparations that were afoot for the elections.
And what was the atmosphere like amongst the different ethnic groups that lived in location 1?
mwanzo hali ilikuwa nzuri, tulikuwa tunaelewana na makabila haya mengine, tulikuwa tunafanya biashara.
Answer. At the outset, the situation was good, and we got on very well with the other ethnic groups. We would work together well, and we would conduct business together without any problems at all.
And when we're talking about the ethnic groups, could you help us as to the main ethnic groups that lived in Location 1?
Kuna Wakikuyu, kuna Wakalenjin.
Answer. There are the Kikuyu, the Kalenjin. These are the majority ethnic groups or tribes living in location number 1 on the list.
And in this time that you said the atmosphere was not very good, what was the relationship, what was the atmosphere between the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin?
Rudia swali.
Answer. Could you please repeat your question?
In the period before the election.
Your Honor, if I may just interrupt. The witness has said that the atmosphere between the different tribes was very good and they lived very well.
Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
The court officer, we are in public session, Mr. President.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Mr. Witness, do you know what political parties the Kalenjin that lived in Location 1, do you know what political party they mainly supported?
Rudia swali, sijalipata.
Answer. Could you please repeat your question?
The Nandis.
Your Honor, just an observation from the defense is that we've noticed since the witness started testifying, on several occasions he's asked for the questions to be repeated. And this is a witness, Your Honor, who gave a very concise and understandable statement to the prosecution, and the interview was done in English. So perhaps I'm wondering if the chamber is minded to ask the witness if he's more comfortable perhaps speaking in English, so we can avoid any translation issues if that is the problem, and perhaps he may be permitted to switch between English and Swahili as he feels comfortable.
Your Honors, I personally, and I know my team, have not yet come to the conclusion that there's a translation issue. I'm willing to give the witness the benefit of the doubt. If he wants a question to be repeated, I have no hesitation in doing so and recouching a question if that helps him understand further. That said, it may be that a clarification from Your Honours, just to see that he is comfortable with the translation rather than the language, the actual translation process will suffice.
Well, I'm not sure that the concern is that there's an erroneous interpretation. That's not the point at this stage. I don't think that suggestion has been made. But we have indeed, I have observed, the witness has asked for questions to be repeated. I do not know whether that is a function of my initial advice to him earlier, that he should understand the question before answering them, or whether it's associated with him paying careful attention to interpretation. We don't know, but there's also been quite some delay in responses from the witness, quite apart from asking for questions to be repeated. So that raises the question whether it will be more efficient overall for him to switch to English if he has that facility. And the reason I ask you is, do you have any concern about me making that inquiry of the witness?
I had no concern for Your Honour to make that inquiry, but I do suggest that the alternative proposition also be explored in terms of whether the translation is being properly transmitted. I do know that there are different dialects of Swahili. It's a language I don't speak myself, so even that might be a difficulty. We just simply don't know.
That's a difficult inquiry to make now. Whether we do this. Witness? Witness, I see from your CV that you completed let's go to private session. I forgot that we are in.
Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
Mr. President, we are in public session now.
Mr. Witness, you've told us that both Kalenjin and Kikuyu lived in location 1. Now, my question is, the Kalenjin, do you know what political party majority of them supported in the period leading up to the elections in 2007?
Ndio walikuwa wanaunga ODM.
Answer: the Kalenjin supported the ODM.
And are you aware of whether the ODM had any political rallies in location 1 in 2007?
Hapana.
Answer: no.
Do you know how the ODM supporters distinguished themselves from other political parties?
Ndio, walikuwa na vitambulisho.
Answer. They had something that could distinguish them from other political parties.
Do you know what they had? Did they have specific posters or banners or logos?
Counsel, your question was about supporters distinguishing themselves.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Witness, did you understand the question, or do you want me to repeat it?
I think you should rephrase that question, because the question moved from supporters and then other political parties. Can you streamline it, please? Parallel senses, if possible.
Okay. Do you know how the ODM party identified itself? Do you know what their logo or their symbols were?
Wao walikuwa wanatumia alama ya
Answer. Orange was their symbol.
And the ODM supporters in location 1, how did they behave towards the Kikuyu in location 1 in 2007?
na swali nataka kuuliza.
Answer. I have a question that I would like to ask. I did not properly understand the question through interpretation. I did not fully understand what the interpreter said, and I did not properly understand the question.
Would you honest forgive me a minute, please?
Mr. Mofada, do you wish to pursue that question and try again, a different approach perhaps?
I'll try in a different way. Were there people you knew in location 1 who supported the ODM? Please just answer yes or no.
Ndio.
Answer, yes.
And in the period leading up to the election in 2007, did you talk to these people?
Ndio.
Answer, yes.
Did these ODM supporters say anything to you?
Ndio, kunaye.
Answer, yes.
Wangu nambari 1.
One of my clients, the person in location number 1, had a vehicle and had put orange-coloured balls on his vehicle, and he said that this political party would form the next government.
Did this person say anything else to you?
Alichoniambia tu.
Answer, he simply said that this political party would form the next government.
And you said that this is the person at location 1. Do you mean the person at location 1 or person number 1?
Katika upande wa watu.
Answer, I am referring to the person who is at location number 1 on the list.
All right. Witness, look at your list. Are you talking about person number 1?
Ndio.
Answer, yes.
Or are you...
I'm grateful, Your Honor. I'm just receiving some clarification that there might have been a translation issue, and that he apparently did say person number 1.
All right. Proceed.
apart from person number one, the ODM supporters generally in location one, did you encounter any of them in the lead up to the election?
Ndio.
Answer, yes.
Did any of these supporters say anything to you in this period?
Ndio.
Answer, yes.
What kind of things were they saying?
Waliniambia kwamba
Answer. These persons said that their political party would head the new government.
Did they say